During the time when I was in hospital, honestly, I was suffering. My hands were literally like this. I couldn't touch anything. I couldn't move. Hello guys, my name is Sharon Machete and welcome back to my YouTube channel. On today's video, I'm going to be talking about my... That'll be a video.
Yeah,
It'll be a video. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about my journey with ARVs, all the side effects and everything that came with ARVs. So let's start from the beginning. When I started taking my ARV treatment, it was on the 8th of October 2014. Trust me, nobody ever forgets the day that they started taking the Smarties ARV. Oh God. When I started them, it seemed as though I would survive everything. I had hope that, this medication is going to help me. I mean, like my CD4 count was 64, 63 there. So after I started taking my ARV treatment, it was on the 8th of October 2014. 2 weeks later, I started getting sick. It started with an asthma attack. Okay, before that, I've always used an asthma pump. I always thought that I was asthmatic while it was actually something related with TB. So when I got to the clinic, and before that, I was tested for TB, I think 3 times, and it was not found. I was negative for TB. But on that day, 2 weeks later, I was admitted in a hospital, then they put me on oxygen, whatever. Then after that, they actually found out that I have TB. When I started my TB treatment, Refiner 4, that's where the complications started. I started my treatment, and 2 weeks later, whenever I ate, I would vomit. Whatever I ate, I would vomit. The vomiting was actually out of control. Then they rushed me to the hospital. Mind you, I just came back from the hospital and being diagnosed with TB. I would go home, I went home for a week, and that's when the vomiting started. So when they rushed me to the hospital, they found that my liver, they call it a lefty, it was swollen. And that was caused because of the ARVs and the Refiner for the TB treatment. It was too hypertoxic. It actually damaged my liver. So right there, they had to rush me back to hospital, whereby I think I stayed for like 3 months or so. Because all in all, if I can summarize the time that I spent in hospital when I found out about my HIV status, it was around 8 months that I was in and out of hospital. I didn't stay throughout the whole 8 months. It was like I'd go in for a month, go out, go in for another 2 months, go out. So when my liver was swollen, they had to actually monitor the whole process of it returning to its normal state. They would inject me with a needle to get blood to test me in terms of my liver, so that they can check if the liver is returning to its original place. That took almost 2 to 3 months for the liver to return to where it's supposed to be. After that, I thought the worst is now over. I can go home. I remember I got home, and I decided that I'm going to write my exams because I was in varsity then. I went to my sister's place the same night. Mind you, of only 2 days that I came out from hospital. I went to my sister's place because she didn't stay far from the university. When I was there the first night, I felt this rush on my back. And I called her. I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? She's like, no, you've got sores all over your body. I'm like, okay, maybe it's chicken pox. That's what I thought, because I don't remember if I've ever had any chicken pox or whatever. Then the following day, I went to write my exam, which I think I failed. Actually, I did fail it. Then, because I haven't been studying, honestly, I've been in and out of hospitals. So I went home after writing my exam. When I got home, that same night, I remember sleeping, and I called on to my grandmom. I'm like, yo, my head is on fire. And my brother came, he brought ices. Immediately when you put the ice on top of my head, it would melt. Literally, that's how much of fever I had that day. In the morning, my grandmom decided, no, let's cut her hair, let's shave her hair off, and then we can see what's happening. Immediately when they shaved my hair, there were these sores, this big sores. that immediately after they cutted my hair or they shaved my hair, those sores literally covered my entire body. I'm talking like in my hands, in my eyes, in my mouth, everywhere. Like it left no spot. It covered, like they were so painful. I couldn't even stand or sit properly because they was really, really, really painful. I remember after that day when the sores literally made their way through my body, my brother rushed me to hospital. When we got there, the nurse and the doctors, when they had to take me to the main ward, they had to use their files and just to give me some air because I could feel, okay. When we got to the hospital ward, because I arrived at the mobile clinics that they use to for HIV positive people, where you guys take your treatment and all that. Then they had to wheel me with the wheelchair to the hospital side, and that time I'm crying. My hands were literally like this. I couldn't touch anything. I couldn't move. So when we got in there, luckily my doctor managed to get me a separated room. I was placed in the separate room. I remember one nurse came in and she was like, Kidiboni, you're back. And then I just looked at her because balls were also in my mouth. I couldn't talk for quite some time. And the nurse was like, Yo, wena, Aisha, mudimu hana weihwa, which literally means God doesn't want you to die. Because I've been in and out of hospital for as long as she can remember. And when I was in that ward, I remember one day my sister came to visit. I hope she doesn't watch this video though. She came to visit and they were busy like cleaning my room. So since I'm in a separate room, it has a separate toilet. So I went to the toilet and I closed the door and the bed was all made up. My sister, I'm not sure what was going on in her mind, but she walked in there and the bed is made up. I could hear her breathing like, oh my God, oh my God. Kidiboni, Kidiboni. So my response was the funny part, because honestly at that time I didn't believe whether I was going to continue living or I was going to die or what's happening. And what I said, I'm like, I'm in the toilet, I'm not dead yet. Yeah, so then after that, my sister Keely, I managed to calm her down. The joke, it managed to calm her down. I stayed in the hospital for like a month and 3 weeks or few weeks or so. You know what was really puzzling is that even the doctors couldn't tell what caused the sores. Was it the ARVs or what is happening? Because the only medication that I was taking, after I found out about my TB and they were too hypertoxic, I had to stop my TB treatment and continue with the ARVs until my liver has actually healed. So at that time I was not taking my refiner 4, I was only taking my ARVs. So those sores, the doctors were also confused with what's happening. I still have a scar on my thigh whereby they had to cut one and actually take it to the lab to find out what was really wrong, and sadly the results never returned. And eventually I managed to recover from all the sores and I was sent home. But during the time when I was in hospital, honestly, I was suffering. The time during my sores, I had to be like surrounded by 2 fans because I was on fire. I was burning. The sores were burning, and sadly they didn't know what caused them. The only thing I could do is to hope that they will eventually heal. During that time, honestly, I'll try not to be emotional because trying to remember the experience is actually heartbreaking. When I was there, I remember I started losing blood. I didn't have blood. Honestly, I got, I think, more than 10 blood transfusions when all the journey that I went in and out of hospital. I remember my sister one day asking me, why are you always on a drip? On that day, I told her this is my 7th one. As much as I might put on a jolly face and whatsoever, it was not nice. It was the most stressful part of my life because at that point, honestly, I had made peace. Whatever comes, whatever happens, whether I die or leave. Honestly, I was fine with it because I was tired. I was really like mentally, I was tired. Emotionally, I was drained. At some point, I really wished that, God, why don't you just take me? But then eventually I started recovering. Then the road to recovery was not easy because I had lost so much weight. And during my lefty, I had this big stomach. I'm sure everyone thought that I was pregnant at that time. You know that time when you lose so much weight and your belly is this big, like as if like you're suffering from kwashiorkor. But that was an experience and a half. So the point of this video, honestly, is to show you that taking ARVs comes with side effects. And if you do get sick from taking your ARVs and you find that maybe you're taking your TB treatment and then it causes some damages like it happened with me, they will eventually change it. What I'm saying is that with this video, I'm just trying to show you that even if you do get sick, don't quit or stop taking your ARVs, because the moment you stop taking them, you go back to them, you take them, they will eventually build up a resistance. So immediately when they do that, you will continue taking your treatment, but then it will no longer be able to help you. I recovered because I sticked with my ARVs. No matter how many times I went to the hospital, and some of the stories which I didn't share because I don't want to be sharing a tear right in front of you guys. But continue taking your treatment. No matter what happens, just take your treatment. Be committed to your treatment. There might be, these side effects might be because of the treatment, but that doesn't mean that the side effects won't go away. I mean, like, look at me now. After that, I started recovering. I started eating well, which was not easy at first, but then I recovered, and look at me today. So with that saying, guys, just continue taking care of yourself. Take your Smarties on time every day, and you'll see everything will eventually work out. You'll gain weight. You look beautiful and radiant if you just take care of yourself and take your treatment. Oh yeah, well, that's that. Don't forget to subscribe. Do share my videos, and let's engage on my Instagram. Follow me on my Instagram at simplyshezi, and take care of yourself. Bye.